Right, I am live, and I've already got one thumbs up. That is killing it. Let's see. Looking forward to this one playing out. I'm just going to give it a minute, let you guys come along, and then we'll get this party rolling. Just give it a minute and let you guys jump in on. Then we've got some stuff to talk about. UFC 248. What a night that was. So I suppose some of you guys maybe ended up tuning into this. Oh, we've got some people jumping in now. What's going on? Just let me know when you're in. Say hi. I was just about to start loose balling for anyone who wants to watch it after the fact. It's just it's interesting. Last night was a very interesting card. Yo, Keenan K, my brother. What's going on, Keenan? How are you, man? We're gonna have to jump on and do some more podcasts again soon, man. I do miss it. I miss our Saturday catch-ups that we used to do. So I hope you're doing well. When I look forward to doing another catch-up with you soon, my bro. Yeah, when you get the opportunity, that'll be great. So yeah. Anyways, with that said, I think it's good to just discuss some stuff that happened last night, and we can start off with one of the guys that really impressed me last night, and that's Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley was a guy who last night came into that fight with 2 years off. 2 years off on the back of, yo, Bradford lad, what's going on, my brother? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. So I just talking about last night. Haven't really started. You're practically one of the first persons to jump in here, so you haven't missed nothing at all. I was just talking about Sugar Sean O'Malley. So before we get into like the main and co-main event of last night's events, I thought could be interesting to talk about Sugar Sean O'Malley and how his fight played out. So Sugar Sean really impressed me last night. Okay, the dude, yo, Rusty Russell, what's going on, my brother? Thank you for jumping in. Sugar Sean O'Malley hadn't fought in over 2 years last night. He had all those nonsense with USADA coming in, and let's be honest, we all know he didn't take no steroids. The whole thing was shady anyway. It turned out to be a contaminated supplement, and then the issue went on and on and on. But a young man at that age to lose 2 years of his career, when no doubt it's going to be, oh, hello, Rifat. I will send on the message to Rifat. That's the missus for those of you guys who don't know. But for Sugar Sean to come back after all the time that he had off and to come in looking so good against a guy that was 5-1 in the UFC. Now, the whole thing about Jose Quinceres, I'm just going to call him Jose because I'm going to slaughter his name. I like him. He's a very talented fighter, very durable, and he's proven to be UFC caliber. But the thing with him is he fights so infrequently himself as well. Robert Christian, what's going on, my brother? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so when he's fighting a guy like Jose Quinceres, who is no doubt in my mind a UFC caliber fighter, a UFC caliber opponent, it is very important not to get blown away by the fact that he's taken out a guy who's 5-1 in the UFC, because he's 5-1. But Quinceres, in a lot of ways, if this was 5 years ago, would have been considered a regional talent. But Sugar Sean O'Malley, not to take away from his performance, looked absolutely incredible. I felt like he came out there, looked fluid, wasn't blown away by the moment. He hadn't fought in 2 years. He's still a very young man. He got a long way to go. And I felt like he came into the fight and he handled everything really well. And I was very impressed with him. Really enjoyed that fight. And I really look forward to seeing what's next. Bradford lad, super impressed with O'Malley and O'Madsen, both future contenders for sure. We'd love to see Tim grapple against Habib. Yeah, I agree. That's two very interesting prospects there, future, and they're both in divisions in which we need the contenders. So that's very interesting. Actually, speaking of the lightweight division of Habib Nurmagomedov, what about Beneil Dariush? Huh? Beneil Dariush is a guy that I've always respected for a long time. He's a guy that I've respected for a long time, and a guy that I fought a lot for. You know, as a contender, I felt like he's got good stand-up. He carries good power in his striking. He hits hard. He's got great conditioning. Obviously, he came short against Michael Chiesa, which was very poor. He got knocked out by Edson Barboza. He's had some damn right, Mr. Right. What's going on, Walling, my brother? Yeah. This is mine, Mr. Right, and my wife. Hers is this one, Mrs. Always Right. So yeah, that's how it works out. Yeah, I thought Close would win that fight on points. See, I didn't think Close would win that fight on point. I felt like Dariush would win. I felt like Dariush was the more well-rounded fighter. On the feet, I feel like Dariush is a bit smoother than Drakkar Klose. Obviously, the fight played out the way it did, but I'm talking about pre the fact. I felt like Dariush had good skills to win. I feel like the people that have given Dariush the most trouble throughout his career are either A, super dynamic strikers like Edson Barboza, or someone like Michael Chiesa, who's very tricky with his submissions, and he can submit you from the worst places. And let's not forget, he was lighting up Michael Chiesa before he got caught in that rear naked choke. But still, a good win for Dariush. That makes him 3 in a row. 3 in a row after losing 2 fights back to back. I believe it's 3 in a row. And I think that's very, very impressive for him to be in that position. I'm very interested to see where he is, and he could be a really good measuring pole for a lot of up and coming contenders. Yoel and Izzy was very disappointing. Yeah, Robert, Yoel and Izzy was very, very disappointing in a lot of ways. And actually, my brother over at MMA Slam Podcast, Dave, he thinks Yoel should have won that fight. I don't think so. I think Israel Adesanya definitely won that fight. I've done a post-fight recap for last night's events. If any of you guys haven't seen it, so definitely check that out. But I felt like Israel Adesanya won that fight. It was a really poor fight. We'll talk about that fight a bit more. We'll break it down as it goes on. Let me just catch up with some of the questions. To be honest, I thought Dariush was way older than 31. Man looks like he's in his early 50s. Yeah, I know. There's something about Dariush, innit? I swear, if he was a first generation immigrant, I would have been thinking that he's most certainly much older. I would say that's some iffy age right there. I used to work for the Home Office where I used to deal with a lot of people who used to give me fake ages and stuff like that. So it's quite funny to see stuff like that. Dariush would have definitely been making my radar go. How much a super fan? Turtle Eyes, what's going on, my brother? I haven't seen you in a long time, guys. For those of you guys who don't know, Amateur Superfan was actually one of my subscribers, one of my first ever subscribers on the channel. I think it was number like 11 or 12 on the channel. So it's very nice to see you around, my man. I was my wife was asked, because my wife knows about all of you guys. My wife was actually asking about you the other day, saying, "Oh, do you still comment? Do you still watch?" I was like, "He's traveling the world, seeing the world right now." So it's nice to see you, my bro. I hope you're well, man. Wallin, Close had that awesome Michigan tattoo. I wanted him to take that. Well, the Michigan tattoo was holding it down for you Michigan boys. And I think Close is a very, very good prospect in the lightweight division. A win or a loss doesn't take away from that. I mean, obviously, it will slow down his momentum, but it's going to be very interesting to see. I definitely think he can rebuild. He's still relatively young by MMA standards. He's only had, 12 fights. The book's not written on Drakkar Klose, but he's trained with great talented guys like Benson Henderson. He's a very talented fighter. Very interested to see what's next. I'm just a super fan. I saw your video on it. 100% agree. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for watching. I enjoy it. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to start trying to do more post-fight recaps. They're pretty good because the fight's still fresh in my mind. It helps me get more content out there. They'll always be raw and unedited because I just can't get them to my boy like that. But I appreciate you watching that. Bradford lad, I had Yoel 1, 2, and 5, but after the performance, he doesn't deserve title. Never thought I'd say that about my boy Romero. Yeah, it's heartbreaking, man, about Romero. Like, it's kind of sad for me that such a talented fighter will retire having never held the belt, and then he'll never be recognized for just how good he was. When he was on an 8-fight win streak in the UFC, I think Romero was a super talented fighter that can do a lot of things. He's very dangerous, very dynamic, very explosive. But for all the credit he gets for being ageless, I do feel like he is slowing down. I feel like he's missing out on opportunities that maybe 4 or 5 years ago he wouldn't have missed out on. I felt like he could have won that fight. From watching that fight, I felt, because the fight was the way that it was, put it this way, because the fight played out the way that it did, and because it was so quiet in a lot of ways, it don't surprise me that he never got the decision. Actually, it doesn't. I agree with you, man. He doesn't deserve the title, and he won't deserve another shot at the belt. At 42, I don't see it happening. Actually, he's close to 43 than 42 at this point. So it's going to be see what's next. I think it's important to appreciate Yoel Romero for everything he's done, from his wins over Lyoto Machida and the controversial win over Tim Kennedy, Chris Weidman. That flying knee was absolutely incredible. Yoel's a guy who deserves a ton of respect, and it's heartbreaking to see. Him and Gus are the two I would have loved to have seen win gold. I agree, man. Gustafsson as well. Gustafsson's a great guy, really dynamic fighter, great with his boxing, really dangerous at all times. And I would love to have seen both of them hold gold at some point, especially that first fight between Gus and Jones. I think I scored it for Gus. Can't remember it anymore. Can't remember it as well as I should anymore. But I think I remember scoring it for Gus. Really disappointed that actually neither of them will hold gold in their career. But sometimes it's like that. The fight game's such a crazy one, man. Michael Bisping ended up holding gold before he retired. Guys, while you're here, just quickly help me out by hitting that like button. Hopefully YouTube will promote the stream a little more if the like button gets hit and gets out there. But that fight with Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero was an interesting one. So let's let's actually talk about that fight and think about that a little bit. CBN9. Craig, what's going on? First time I've seen you around, so welcome to the stream, brother. Thank you for dropping by. I'm a bit big on Zhang, but I've got to say that JJ has a new kind of respect from me. JJ is a roughneck. JJ has big balls going full distance with that. Yeah, I respect Joanna Jędrzejczyk for her performance last night. I think I was becoming one of the first people to start saying that actually, I doubt her chin. I felt like Zhang was going to be able to get that win fairly convincingly, and that was an incredible war. I picked Zhang as well. If you haven't, you can check out my breakdown on that and see some of the stuff that I do on the channel. I see that I haven't seen your name around, so maybe you're new to the channel. So check out some of the breakdowns I do and some of the stuff I have on the channel. And I had picked Zhang to win, but Joanna Jędrzejczyk come out there and what a war that was. That fight is legacy, though. In my opinion, neither girl lost stock in that. I thought Joanna Jędrzejczyk was washed up as well, and she completely I didn't think that she was washed up. Actually, I thought that she was slowing down. I thought she was slowing down significantly to a point that Zhang's going to be able to get the victory in this one, but that's not how it played out. She came to fight. It was a war. Bradford Lad, I had Jones beating Gus, but I had Gus beating DC in their fight. Nobody seems to talk about that fight. That's right. That's a good point. Actually, I'm guilty of that too, because whenever I think about Alexander Gustafsson and the title, I always think about the John Jones fight. And actually, I can't even remember the last time I watched the the Alexander Gustafsson DC fight, and it'll be very interesting to see that one. I felt like at the time it was a great fight. I know my little brother was burning up about him not getting that decision. He felt like it was a complete and utter robbery. So yeah, actually, I would love to see. Would have loved to have seen him win the gold. It's not written for some guys, I guess, huh? Jimmo Snow 4, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the stream, man. Nice to see you about. That's my brother from South London right there, man. I've no doubt we'll be sharing a coffee one day, my man. Not impressed by Israel. Yoel 125, in my opinion. Didn't want to engage with Yoel. Took the safe option. If you call out a fight and then talk trash, you can't run, to be honest. I agree with that. I agree. I wasn't impressed with the performance and the way he fought. I think the sad thing about the fight last night is that it was a real opportunity for Israel Adesanya to kind of break a new level of stardom. Say, look, I've called out this fight. I've made it happen. We're here in the ring. And to really go there and show some skills. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because when you saw that fight, Yoel Romero was essentially striking with Israel Adesanya, who's had 80 professional kickboxing fights and won multiple world championships in the realm of striking. So it would have made sense that Israel Adesanya would have taken full advantage of that. I'm actually surprised that he was so hesitant to engage on those terms. I understand that Yoel Romero is dangerous, but with the distance, the speed, the youth, the experience, all on the feet, I would have thought that Israel Adesanya would be much more willing to engage, man. It was disappointing. I thought Joanna Jędrzejczyk was washed up, and boy, did yeah. I'm a super fan. How do you guys watch the fights? I only had a shit YouTube, so I couldn't see the fight clearly. But from the bits that I saw, I thought JJ had most of the fight, and Weili got round 5. Okay, so I'm here in the UK, so I literally just watch it on BT Sports. I felt like the right decision was made in that fight. I think I can't remember 100% now, but I gave Zhang rounds 1, 2, and 5. I think that's what I gave Zhang. And I felt like whilst Joanna Jędrzejczyk was looking really good at points and she was getting off good combinations and she had great speed and dexterity in her striking, I felt like when Zhang was connecting, it was making a difference. And you saw the kind of you can't judge by the way fighters look at the end of it, but you saw the impacts of what Zhang was doing at the end of the fight with the massive hematoma, her broken nose. It was an incredible fight. What a fight that was. So yes, I think the right call got made. Zhang has showed some holes and it will be exploited. Who can and will exploit those holes in Zhang's game? That's an interesting question there. I think she definitely showed some games, and I think Rose Namajunas is a dangerous fighter and one that's very capable of really exploiting some holes in Zhang's game. I think Rose, when she switched on and on her game, if you saw the second fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and even the fight with Jessica Andrade, and I picked her to lose in that fight, but she actually really impressed me in that fight. She was kind of really picking apart Zhang in that fight. Sorry, not Zhang, Jessica Andrade in that fight. Her stand-up's actually pretty damn good, obviously training with Pat Barry for all these years and being as good as she is, I'm really impressed with her. Shout out to your younger brother. Tell him to work on his beard game. Bro, yeah, he's working on his beard game every day right now. He's He's trying real hard to get it growing. My little brother, his beard don't grow as full as mine, but I'm sure it will get there. He'll get the beard game going, won't he, Rafat?
Oh yeah, for
sure. Okay, Bradford lad, old saying rings true. At the moment, to beat the champ, you got to take him out. Yeah, that's what it seems like. If you want to beat the champ, and you got to come and take the belt from the champ, to beat the champ, you got to really beat the champ. You got to take it from the champ. So I think in the MMA game, that's really becoming more and more apparent. We saw it in the John Jones fight. We saw it in the Israel Adesanya fight. We saw it in the Weili Zhang fight. That's 3 fights, the most 3 recent title fights, and they've all played out like that. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see and see that playing out in the game. Whilst I've never really felt like that is reflective, I feel like whether the title's on the line or not, the fight should just be judged objectively, and whoever's the right person to win that fight should walk away with the winner. But yeah, no, it's just the way the game is. Dana has made lemonade again by getting Costa involved. Is he gonna be? Is Costa going to be a sellout? Yeah, I think so as well. I think Costa is a very dangerous fighter. Paulo Costa is a very dangerous fighter, and if Israel Adesanya shows up like days ago, like this last night, I feel like he will really struggle against Paulo Costa. Actually, I've really grown on Paulo Costa lately. I used to think he was a little bit of overblown hype job, and I felt like he weren't really correct for the division. I felt like he was going to struggle, but he just watching some of his fights, rewatching some of his fights, really impressed me in the Yoel Romero fight and the way he fought that fight. I'm really looking forward to seeing him come back and have that fight. Bantamweight is going to be the best division for the foreseeable future. Aldo, Cejudo, O'Malley, Moraes, Sanhagen, Yan, Sterling, and there's this kid called Kyler Phillips, who I'm not sure if you know. I don't know who Kyler Phillips is. I'll check him out after the stream. But yeah, that's a sick division. And Peter Yan is a beast. I am such a huge fan of Peter Yan. I think he's going to take out Marlon Moraes, and I think he's going to, when he fights for the belt, I think he'll win the belt. I think he's the best bantamweight in the world right now. But that's an incredible division right there. Seeing Sugar Sean go on a run, I would love to see that. So yeah, but he looks like a real prospect. I'll check him out. I definitely trust you for that one, brother. I'll check him out. Kyler Phillips. Shout out to Mrs. Mindful Combat.
Shout out. Yeah.
That's from Bradford, lad. You got a shout out there, babe.
Shout out Bradford.
Next time we're down Bradford, innit, we'll holler him. See if we can get a link up in.
Oh yeah.
Amateur super fan. Biggest moment of the fight is versus Romero with the sound of that body kick. You know which one I'm talking about. Everyone knows which one you're talking about, and the sound of them leg kicks as well, right? So yeah.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Do the males fight the females?
The males don't. So guys, the question from my wife is: do the male fighters fight the female fighters? The answer to that is a stern no. They do not fight them. Although Henry Cejudo has been asking for a fight with Valentina Shevchenko for some reason, which I'm still not sure about. It's obviously just messing around, but no, they don't.
Oh well.
Cejudo versus Nunes. Hey, how do you not think that would go? Cejudo versus Nunes. I think he would just use it. But Nunes is an animal. He is a beast. In a kickboxing fight, I would probably pick Nunes over Cejudo. That's mad. Yeah, Valentina versus Cejudo. Valentina is such an animal. She's my favorite female fighter right now. I think Valentina is such a talented fighter. Really a pleasure to watch her fight, really. She picks her shots so well. She's so dangerous. Prolific finisher. Nunes has head movement. I think it's the best in the game. She's got brilliant everything. I like the fluidity of her hands as well. She's quite like a boxer. That's really, really interesting. So who they're going to be sleeping on duty if he fights Nunes or well? Oh, man. Would Tito versus Dana count? Yeah, I suppose that would count. Yeah. Tito versus Dana would count. Can you imagine that nearly actually happened? They was going to have a boxing match. That's some crazy shit, man. All the women champs are different breeds at the moment. Yeah, the women champs are it's so crazy in the world of women's MMA right now. Well, I suppose Zhang has competition in her division, but Valentina Shevchenko is so far ahead of all her potential opponents. Amanda Nunes so far ahead of all her potential opponents. It's crazy, man. Like the world of women's mixed martial arts is crazy. But well, that's one thing that I've always really liked about women's MMA is that it does get the push that it rightfully deserves. Like over in boxing, there's so many talented fighters like Lucia Riker. No one ever knew who she was. Layla Ali, no one really cared outside of the fact that she was Muhammad Ali's daughter, and they put on that freak show with Joe Frazier's daughter. Then there's currently fighting Heather Hardy doesn't really have. She hasn't really fought any good talented fighters. But Clarissa Shields is a really talented boxer. I obviously think a lot of Katie Taylor, being a British boxing fan. But MMA is worlds ahead of when it comes to pushing women and giving them the respect that they deserve as combat athletes. I love it. By the way, speaking of combat athletes, my interesting characters video, I got an interesting one coming out for you guys this week on Thursday. Look out for that one, or maybe even a little earlier. But I'm really looking forward to sharing that one. I hope you guys enjoy that. I think it's something different from what I've done before. So I really, really hope that you guys enjoy it. I'm taking a bit of a risk with this one, so I'm a bit nervous. So I just hope you guys enjoy it. Just give it a chance. That's all I'm going to say. Where was we? All the women champs are a different breed and one. Yep, her versus Cyborg is my favorite example of head movement, and your hands are insane. Yeah, I remember doing a live stream for that, and I was like, just before the fight started, I was like, yeah, I think she's gonna pressure Nunes, and Nunes is gonna fold. Nope, nope. Nunes came out there and battered her. Can't always be right, can I? I'd still watch Tito versus Dana. Laugh at. I would watch it. It could be fun, but Tito, funnily, has aged pretty well considering he was slumping about 10 years ago. He's been slumping for so long that he's still around and somewhat relevant, shall we say? Obviously, beating WWE stars and 50-year-old Chuck Liddell ain't that impressive, but yeah. Women's MMA has evolved this year. I agree. Women's MMA has evolved so much. Invicta was a sneaking body performance that was. That will be mentioned for a long time. Invicta was. I didn't see the Invicta fights. I'll check them out. Clarissa Shields, my Michigan girl. Let's go, champ. Oh, is she from Michigan? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Clarissa Shields. Yeah, really, really big fan of Clarissa Shields. Actually, I don't want to see her come to MMA without properly preparing, but it looks like she's actually started putting in some work and doing some stuff there. So that could be very, very interesting. Michigan, huh? Really always wanted to go to Michigan. If I ever come down, brother, I'm gonna shout you out. Come hit you up. If I ever come down to Michigan, my missus is giving me a little nod. Yeah, shout at him if we ever go to Michigan. Bradford lads, strawweight is the only competitive division. Rose, Joanna, and Tatiana all can give Zhang a run for her money. I want to see Tatiana come up. I want to see Tatiana come back, getting back into the ring, and then we'll see. Hey, brother, have you got any updates on the Cage Warriors thing? So, my brother, the Cage Warriors thing is very, very interesting. I have been in touch with Cage Warriors, and I have had contact from Cage Warriors, and I feel like they're going to give me some potentially really good news soon. I don't want to announce anything until they tell me. I've tried to get a press pass. Let's check. I don't want to oversell it and make it seem like I'm going to get an analyst role or anything. But I've tried to get a press pass with Cage Warriors. There's a huge event going on right here in London, March 20th. That's next week. And, almost 2 weeks from now. So I might be going over to Cage Warriors with a press pass. So fingers crossed.
You don't need an analyst role. You got it on your own.
Yeah, I've got an analyst role on my own, right? Yeah, I'm an armchair analyst now, but I'm hoping to be a real analyst one day. Who knows, man? Working the grind every day while doing this on the side. I'm really going to start pumping out some content for you guys now, man, because I really want to push with the channel. That's the goal. But I'm really enjoying this tonight. Actually, it's a very laid-back stream. So thank you guys for making it so comfortable for me. Let's see. Just give Clarissa Shields 6 months for ground game, like she said. Yeah, 6 months learning the ground game. You know what, brother? I trained hard in MMA for years, and my ground game was always kind of shit being a Brit. I've got good stand-up, but even I say almost in current tense, and I don't even really train like that anymore. But I had real good stand-up at one point, but the ground games are different. But she's a high-level athlete and a full-time fighter. You'll be surprised what you can do when money's no issue, man. I got you just bought a huge house. We got room for all the MFC family. Oh, thank you, bro. That's very kind of you, man. That's very, very kind of you. Hey, look, man, I'll take you up on that. And then if you're ever down in London, be sure that I got you too, man. Don't you worry about that, Bradford lad. 6 months on the grind game, she would be brutalized by Nunes. Watch Amanda Randomly fight. She's been training her ground game for much longer than 6 months. Yeah, I think he meant that kind of sarcastically, really. I don't think that in 6 months you're going to learn anything anywhere to be good enough to be prepared for what's going to be coming up. in the UFC at that. You wouldn't be prepared for the regional scene in MMA with 6 months of ground training, let alone the greatest women's MMA fighter of all time. 6 months small training, and she's yeah, the old Mirko Cro Cop thing, sprawl training and checking kicks, right? She's got some learning to do, man. Any picks for Cage Warriors? My brother, I will be giving picks for Cage Warriors. But before I give any picks for Cage Warriors, I need to know what the setup is. So because I got something in the work, I can't give picks for Cage Warriors right now, but I plan to do picks for Cage Warriors. I'm gonna start covering those kind of events as well. Actually, funnily, I found that in terms of views, and this isn't all about views because I love talking to you guys and engaging with you guys, but with Cage Warriors and stuff like that, I really enjoy. With this channel, I've really found that I've actually gotten surprisingly high amounts of feedback when I've done out of UFC content. So maybe I'll start covering more out of UFC content. And Cage Warriors definitely, fingers crossed, they're my UK brethren. So I'm hoping that they can that we can get some big updates from there. Yeah, sorry, very sarcastic. Yeah, I thought you were being sarcastic, my bro. I thought you was. Nunes is a beast. Nunes is an absolute animal, man. She is an absolute animal. The way Nunes fights, the power that she carries, it's ridiculous, man. It's boy. I really would have loved to have seen Nunes the way she is now fight Ronda Rousey when she was at the peak of her momentum and confident. Now I know what you guys are thinking. She'll batter Ronda Rousey, and she probably would have taken her out regardless. But the Ronda Rousey that we saw, Ronda Rousey always seemed like a very confident, driven fighter, and the person who, when she took a hit, couldn't take it. So when she lost in the Olympics and got a bronze medalist, she had to go and hide for a couple of years and work as a waitress. And then she came back into MMA and had to rebuild. And then as her confidence came on, she became more and more arrogant. So by the time she came back to fight, mentally there was always some stuff going on there, man. It's crazy. Truth be told, you're correct about fast tracking MMA experience. CM Punk is a good example. Got wrestling, but no MMA skills. Yeah, he had wrestling more than wrestling, I guess, right, brother? But yeah, CM Punk's a good example. You need to build up time. It takes time to build up skills, man. A good fighter will be training from their child. So I'm fortunate enough to be married into a family where my father-in-law is a very talented Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach, and his sons, my brother-in-laws, they've been put into martial arts from a young age, and they're very talented and very fluid in their movements and their fighting. One of my missus's brothers in particular is a very talented boxer. When you look at him, he's so crisp, so beautiful. But it's still, you got to be doing it all the time, man. If it was that easy to pick up, trust me, I wouldn't be working a 9 to 5 every day to try to feed my family. I'll be fucking fighting, man. But I ain't got the body for that. Don't forget us when you're Mr. Big Time Analyst for the UFC, bro. Well, firstly, hopefully, fingers crossed, I get there one day. I'm not gonna hide that. That's one of my dreams. UFC 1 Championship, Bellator. I'm out here for all of you guys. Don't worry. But I ain't forgetting you guys. You guys are my friends, man. I don't leave friends behind. Bradford, we speak outside of this as well in many different ways. So you know I always got you, brother. Amateur super fan. She was world class boxer, like I had. yeah. That's the problem. Her coach got into her head, and she really didn't develop no skills. Like it's crazy. I wish she would have went and trained with someone like Rafael Cordero from the beginning of her. I think Edmund Taverdian wasn't right for her anyway. He was arrogant, came into the ring. He didn't want to train a woman. Why did she stick with him? I'm really confused. This just doesn't make no sense. She had all the head movement, all backwards from punches. The Undertaker is a purple belt in BJJ. It takes years. Yeah, I know a lot of them. There's a lot of them that are wrestlers and martial arts. And by the way, I'm a huge WWE fan. I grew up watching it, and I watch WrestleMania every year. So maybe I'll even do some videos on WrestleMania this year. Who knows? Bro, surprised you didn't do this yesterday before the fight. Actually, you know what, brother? Firstly, welcome in Articulated Doom, my man. Guys, show him some love. Subscribe to his channel. He's trying to grow his channel. He's just starting out as well. So any numbers help at this point in time. He does like nerdy videos on toys and shit, but I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I'm an inner nerd. But yeah, I would have done this last night, but I had date night with the missus. So we was going out, getting some dinner, coming back a bit later, hanging out. And normally I do it before every big fight, but I thought, I suppose yesterday I'll do it tonight. And yes. So that was a fight I couldn't win. If we used to break down the potential of my fight with my missus, I will probably definitely get obliterated in all stats. So I thought, let me stay away from this one. I don't want to talk to her about trying to do a live stream last night. Yeah, that would have been hers to win. How do you organize your time so you can still train, work out, and work a 9 to 5? I work like 55 hours a week and don't know how to squeeze in some extra time. Let me tell you guys a little bit about that. So my brother, I appreciate you working 55 hours a week. That's it's hard work, man. And I do about 55 hours a week as well. So I work a Monday to Friday job. I work for the British government. I got a very, very busy post working in like finances and numbers. So what I tend to do is I cycle into work, which is about 6 or 7 miles, cycle there, cycle back. I tend to go gym 3 times a week, like really, really late. So I'll hit gym about 9:30. When I come home, iron my stuff. You got to be super organized, iron my stuff for the next day, respond to comments as and when throughout the day when I get the chance, speak to all of you guys, and then fit in any training I can. And I work 6 days a week. So it's just super, super hard. And like, for example, on Saturdays, I wake up at 5 a.m. because I do my second row on Saturdays. I wake up at 5 a.m. And by the time, if I'm staying up to watch the fights, I've been up for like 25, 26 hours by the time it comes to sleep. But it's passion. I have a passion for this game. I love the fight game, so I'm always going to be doing it. Happy to do it. My wife always asks me how I can manage to do it, but it's all right, man. You fit it in, right? I'm very tired a lot of the time, but I'm getting used to it now. So I've kind of broken the habit. I got that immigrant mentality that Stipe Miocic has, that immigrant mentality, even though I'm born and raised Londoner, but I'm still I still got that immigrant mentality passed down to me by my mother. So yeah, I don't know. It's just hard, isn't it? It's hard to squeeze in all the time. Man, I really hope that idiot Edmund Taverdian, however it's spelled, doesn't fuck up Shabazian like he did Ronda. I agree. I'm so worried about that. I really like it. Still so that's leaning on it. Hopefully that's better. I was leaning on it. Sorry, it's still silent. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, you guys can hear me? No? Okay, all right, I'm back now. Perfect. Sorry, guys. When I was picking unstable, it's right, guys. Connection unstable. Some internet problems here in my flat lately, but oh come on. But yeah, that's the game now. I find it takes me longer and longer to recover from what's been going on. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling it as well. Sometimes I regret staying up as well. And I think last night was one of the nights in which I regret staying up. I lost the feed. Oh man, guys, my internet's been right now like the previous stream. It's a good idea for me to call it a good night. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to start trying to do more live streams regularly. Yeah, Bradford, like, I know my internet's been really shitty. The internet's been pretty bad in this whole area. If you haven't already, then please check out my post-fight recap. Let me know your thoughts and then message below in the comment sections and we can catch up there. Thank you guys. Have a great night and I wish you guys